Bienvenidos dia tres. What's on the menu for today? Well, this morning we're going down to tour the Royal Palace called the Alcázar, which we would say Alcazar, and the cathedral, the largest Gothic cathedral in the world. And so I also got to teach class today, so I'll give you a quick tour of what the Texas Tech Center in Seville looks like, so you get a sneak peek of what the university here looks like and where our students are getting educated. So stay tuned, lots of stuff coming at you today. Here's an example of a typical Sevillano house. You can see here, let's see, outside it just looks like a apartment building or something. Little terraces there, but all the rooms will go around a central garden, and you can see inside the central patio. This particular, we'll step inside here. We'll have a central patio, and all the rooms surround that central patio, where they have flowers and a little garden, and of course, all of the tile work. So how do you know when you're getting close to the cathedral? All you gotta do is look up. You can kind of see the tip of the cathedral sticking up right there, but you can see pieces of the cathedral. It's so big. Oh, now you can see it coming around the corner here. Right here in the middle, you see the flying buttress going across. And so you know you're getting close to the cathedral. Okay, here we are entering the cathedral. It's pretty spectacular. To imagine this was built in 1500 without electric saws or any of our modern tools. Here is the Giralda Tower tour. Now you can go up the tower. I'm not gonna go up the tower because I've been up here before and it is arduous. It's 37 ramps to the top. Okay, there's your ramps right there. So they used to ride a horse to the top of this to announce the prayers of the day. And so this ramp, these reason weren't stairs, was because a horse would ride up this 2 or 3 times a day. So 37 of those, plus 17 stairs to get to the top.
Sure if they're going to come down together. There might be like some stragglers, so I don't know if I'll be able to pull them all together. No, kind of sort of. I think that fad's past maybe, but nonetheless, it's very reminiscent of that. A lot of that series is absolutely amazing. So you want to take some pictures of that. You'll walk around those organs, kind of towards the back. These side chapels are all unique. Right? Get around to the back.
Here's one piece of the organ inside the cathedral, and the carved marble, and all of the carvings. And you can see the organ pipes. It's incredible.
All the different regional.
Takes 7 students to go all the way around this one column to get the size of how big around these columns are that are supporting the ceiling. Here we are at the tomb for Christopher Columbus. His remains in this box on the shoulders of the 4 kings. And you can see right on the shield in the middle of the castle a keyhole that opens. There's a box inside of here containing his remains. This is the choir loft with the organ. So you wonder where all the New World gold went. How about the altarpiece in the cathedral in Seville? Let's get a little closer. Each one of these little naves in here has a scene from the Bible, because most people at that time were illiterate, couldn't read the Bible, and so the only way to convey these stories was through these images. And so each one of these little images or naves in here has a little image of one of the Bible stories. But it's all carved out of wood and then plated with gold from the New World. It's really incredible. So how do you change the batteries on the smoke detector in the cathedral in Seville? A big boom lift.
Well, the name of the town, it's right outside of Seville, and it's in reference to Santa Justa and Santa Rufina. So Santa Justa is the train station that we're meeting at tomorrow near the port, and it takes its name from Justa, Santa Justa. They were sisters. This is in 200 BC, roughly, that they were born here in Hispalis, was the name of it at the time, the Roman town of Seville. And they were potters by profession, which is why you see the pots in their hands. And there was a pagan festival that took place at the time that they decided they weren't going to participate in for their religious reasons. And so the people came into their pottery shop and they trashed it, basically. They broke all the pottery. And so they retaliated by breaking one of the pagan statues, which you see there at the feet. And so the prefect at the time took them prisoner and put them in basically the amphitheater to be executed. And first he put a lion in the amphitheater to take them out, but the lion just remained as docile as a house cat. So they just started licking their feet. Then he, after rounds and rounds of different ways of trying to get them to expire, so to speak, they finally did, and so therefore they have the palm branch in their hand signifying their martyrdom. And then of course you can see the cathedral and the Giralda in the background, even though that wasn't around whenever they were here. But just kind of showing their ties to Seville as kind of the patron saints of Seville. So, a bunch of different symbolism, apart from the fact that it was done by a very famous painter to Spain, Francisco de Goya, who has tons of stuff in the Prado Museum in Madrid. If y'all have time to go there, I would encourage you. One of the most important painters in Spain. And obviously you can see it was made specific for this spot.
Normal ceiling, but look at the ceiling here in the middle, decoration.
En lo que es la parte inferior se llama prevela, el banco, y vemos ahí la
The amount of silver and gold in here is really incredible. Okay, so now we're on to the Royal Palace, the Alcázar, and this is the Puerta León, or the gate of the Lion's Gate, in the main entrance. This is the Archive of the Indies, where all of Christopher Columbus's documents were stored, brought back from the New World. And of course, right next to it, right there, is the cathedral that we just toured. 3 World History Sites, UNESCO World History Sites: the Cathedral, Archivo de Indies, and the Alcázar, the Royal Palace in Seville, within a stone's throw of each other. Probably the only place in the world where you have 3 World History Sites this close to each other. That horse knows how to prance right there. Okay, we made it past security.
See, that sucks. They totally.
So this is the only remnants of the original
Of the
Arab palace.
That's right.
See, water is a feature in all the Arab palaces, in addition to keeping it a little bit cooler in here. And then the ceiling is all fitted wood pieces. And you have to imagine that years and years and years and years ago, hundreds of years ago, that all of these tiles would have been brightly colored, not just white, but painted bright colors. You can still see some of the paint colors up here, so you can see some of the green left. But all this would have been all brightly colored. Unbelievable to look at, and very imposing when you walked in. You can always tell kind of the Moorish or the Muslim influence by these rounded tops on the doors, whereas the Catholic, the Romans, the Christian doors would have been come up into a point at the top. So you can always kind of tell the architectural influence and difference in the construction here. So this was built in 1300. You on this, okay.
So the technica they quoted, what they would have done is they would have had like a string that would have been somehow, I feel like
waxed or something.
Exactly, waxed. And then they would have used that together with other tools. There's a book that we have back at the school that shows how they did it with like a compass, basically a ruler, and these waxed strings that they would have used to create these geometrical patterns, and then fire them as such, versus the technique which is called alicatado, in which they would have cut these pieces out individually and then puzzle piece them together, versus like having one solid piece with the design, laid in there with that string.
So this is kind of interesting. So this tiles, what they did, you'll see, they'll have some imperfections on them. Mm-hmm. And what they had was they had raised parts on these tiles, and these raised parts were where they would set another tile on top of it. So there would have been another tile set right on top of it right here. You can see some places where the finish is not perfect, where they stacked them in the kiln.
Right.
This particular tile right here would have been made in about 1505. And this is, of course, the world. And then this band around the world signifies Christopher Columbus's voyage around the world. And so that's kind of how you can date that particular tile. Mm. Yeah. That's the first, this is in the Royal Palace in the Alcazar, in the Moorish, the two rooms here off the front. So here's you a cool shot of the top of the Giralda Tower. You can see him right there from the inside courtyard of the Alcázar.
It's Ferdinand III on his deathbed.
That's right. Okay, I can't remember. This is called the Maritime.
Yeah. The Virgen de los Navegantes, the Virgin of the Navigators.
The Virgin of the Navigators.
If you had a trip that you were taking across the pond, you'd come here and pray first. Errors that he would include in his spills with a grain of salt. You just kind of let it go because he made it so fun. Put into the worked into the stucco that's Allah is God and conquers all.
I've probably been through this 8 or 10, maybe more times, but every time I come through, I see something that I've never seen before.
Because this is that same design that we saw earlier, but these are individual pieces now.
So every one of these little tiles is an individual little tile put together to form these amazing geometric patterns. This is not one big tile. These are thousands and thousands of little tiles. This is the patio of the dolls. And you can find the doll's head.
Oh, there.
Right there.
There they are. One here and one there. They say that there's more than two. There's more, but
You have to look harder to find.
this ceiling is incredible. Think about all the pieces of wood fitted together to make this. Really, truly incredible. You can still see some of the brightly colored plasterwork in this room has been restored to what it would have looked like 600 years ago. These were the symbols of Isabel and Ferdinand, and then their royal crest here in the center. Okay, this is the salon of Philip II. It's probably the most fabulous room in the palace. You can see the unbelievable artwork here, the plaster work. Again, the Moorish arches, some Muslim influences.
Yeah, that's why it was a royal.
Look at the colors in here.
That's why it was a royal color.
And the artwork.
Nails from the Mediterranean.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. And you see that castle and the lion symbol. You see it all original.
More symbols in the ceiling here. Ferdinand and Isabel with the castle and the lion, Leon.
That are all independent. It's really unique. Pretty crazy.
So do most people that live in Spain know most of the like?
No.
Only their one?
No, Spaniards aren't going to know. Like, your average Spaniard here, and then just one by one, I'm not going to know. Yeah. Which earned him his name. The current royal family actually has...
I have this flower growing in my front yard, but for some reason, mine don't do this. Look how beautiful those are. Lubbock, Texas is not conducive to that, apparently. But I'm going to go cultivate some more of those because those are Spanish flowers. So we're moving now out into the Royal Gardens, which is a part of the Alcázar, the Royal Palace. So we're kind of outdoors now. There were several scenes from Game of Thrones shot here. This was Dorne, if you're a Game of Thrones fan. And there are several scenes shot here on the patios in the gardens at the Royal Palace. I'd like to have this as your backyard at home. Come on. Yeah. They just go on and on and on. They're beautiful gardens. And what royal palace would be complete without a maze of shrubberies? Look how fantastic. See the purple jacaranda trees? They're all over Seville. And then peeking through the top of the palace right there, you can see the top of the cathedral. Gorgeous. Whoa, this is so narrow.
That's the other thing I forgot to mention in the orientation is the common sense with the rails. There's not the same kind of safety protocol.
No, para arriba no, aquí se baja.
And this one?
Yeah, it's huge.
It's a royal peacock. He's trying to impress somebody. My favorite, the bougainvillea. It's not quite filled out yet, but soon.
Tapestries and the color of the tapestries and things like that. which is, I think, what kind of influenced and helped evolve the technique of painting directly on the tile without like that.
Right.
Because they wanted to try to represent those tapestries. And they needed, you know, more detail in the drawings that they were doing.
So you can kind of date your way through the palace by looking at the tiles.
And the technique that they used to create it.
Exactly.
Because the other thing is the Arabs, the tile work that the Arabs were putting in wouldn't have anything floral or animal. You can't,
Right.
or excuse me, anything animal or human. It all had to be floral or geometric.
Or geometric, right?
And so you know that this is all coming later because it's got people and animals.
So these are tapestries, giant tapestries. They're not painted. This is all woven. We'll get you close up so you can see the fabric. So every time a thread needs to change colors, the artist that's weaving this had to change colored threads to make this come out to, you know, this particular image. It's really incredible. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the Royal Palace and the cathedral tour this morning. Now, it's hot in the afternoon. Did I say hot in the afternoon? Late in the afternoon. It's hot too. It's probably close to 100 degrees today. Approaching a school to teach statics for the first time. Let me take you through the school. Let's see what it looks like. All right, this is the front door of the Texas Tech Center. Big pink building here. Okay, I'll go up and enter the secret code on the door pad. And let's see what it looks like here. Air conditioning. Okay, so this is your quick virtual tour of the Texas Tech Center in Seville. First office, that's the lovely Lydia. Hi, Lydia. She's one of the coordinators here at the center. In here, there's a couple more offices. Jonathan Dean's offices, Dr. Dean's in there. And then that is the lovely Miriam. She's another one of the directors here at the center. She's fantastic. We'll come back this way. And we've got a work area for students to hop on a computer, and there's usually more computers here. We're trying to keep them separated, so. But an area for them to study, to work on. Little hallway, pictures on the floor. And then this is one of our classrooms. This is called Goya. All the classrooms are named after famous Spanish artists. You can see this one's set up for the music of Spain. You've got speakers and sound system set up here. The students are way spread out so that they don't have any physical contact here. And then we've got a little library. And then another small classroom. I've actually taught class in this room before. I think I had 12 students in here, something like that. It's more of a library space now, but it can be a classroom if needed. And then here's another big classroom. Let's see what this one's called. I can't remember what this one's called. Anyway, nice classroom. Also taught class in this room. Plenty of students. They've got just one student per table in here to keep them spread out. And then the professor is up here on the whiteboard. There's also a drop-down screen and a projector. So nice space here. Another printer, specifically for architecture students to print out big floor plans and drawings and that sort of thing. And then this can be set up for another classroom. Right now it's housing all the extra chairs from having everything separated to keep the students spread out. These are how many extra chairs we have here, but this can also be another classroom space. I've also taught class in this room. And finally back here, this is Becker, another classroom space. Okay, taught class back here as well. I think I've taught class in every single room in this building, actually. So another good space. Marker boards, and then a projector screen there, okay? I'll go back up to the front, so we'll go back this way where we came from, and then we'll go back around the other side of the building and see what that looks like. Okay, so now we're back in the front of the building. There's the stairway we came up. And we're gonna go this way, look at classrooms. That right there, that's Dr. Sarah Pink. She's the director of the center. See, look at her waving at us. And then we'll go back this way. We've got a big classroom slash dance room. Lots of art stuff done in here, like flamenco dancing and that kind of thing. The other end is a mirror. Hey, y'all. Okay. So that can be used as a classroom space. Back here is Cervantes, the room. Cervantes is here. Okay. A great space, library space, and then students spread out, of course. And then we'll go back this way. Look, here's some students waiting to go to class. Hi, students. It's good to see you too. Professor offices here and here. There's my office space. It's very exciting. One chair, one computer. And then finally, this is Velasquez, the last room back here. This is where I'll be teaching all my classes this semester. There's a couple of students getting ready for class. And then back through this door, there's a restroom, and then down some stairs to the street again for the back entrance of the center. And that is the Texas Tech Center at Seville. And then one more, there's Dr. Dean right there. He's the other coordinator and the associate director of the center in Seville. Okay, finished teaching class. Going home after having a quick snack at the little restaurant here close to the campus. Here's what it looks like today. I'm having a little puntejito, which is fried squid and little miniature squid. So enjoy the day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.